And welcome back, YouTube. It is now 12:37. I'm not sure what that display means here on the Taco Bell sign. It says 0601. That is not the date. I think it's 0731. It is July 31st, last day of July. Tomorrow starts August. But 2nd Street and... what's the name of this road? There's a handful of major streets in Florence. I forget the names of them. And now Parkway Avenue. Yeah, it's tempting to walk just straight back up 2nd Street. I walked down 1st Street. Yeah, I think I'm just going to walk down 2nd Street to my car. Part of me just wants to wander around Florence on foot. And if it wasn't so damn hot, that would probably be something I would enjoy more. But the sun is a little bright for my taste right now, and it is hot. I just stepped outside of the air conditioning at Taco Bell. By the way, had a great lunch for a low price. That's always a good thing. But yeah, I'm going to be feeling the heat before I make it to my car, so I should probably go straight to my car. So as I was saying earlier, there was a time, 17, 18 years ago, when I was honestly thinking about buying a car out here. I had a karaoke show at a bar called Funky Monkeys, which ended up firing me, I don't know, 6 months into the gig, more or less. That's a story I don't feel like retelling. Houses were very affordable here at that time. Like, I was making enough money I could have afforded to get a house then, although I was on government housing at the time, which, you know, one of the arguments against government housing and putting limits on government housing is that people who are on government housing will get too comfortable on government housing and not do things to better this situation because they don't want to leave that inexpensive housing option behind. I dig that building there, and I'm guilty as charged for that. It's not a part of my past I'm extremely proud of, but it made sense at the time, and it's not like I was, you know, cheating the system or anything. It was definitely stuff I qualified for, and for that matter, kind of could still qualify for now, in spite of how well I am doing these days. This is interesting. We have an alley, which is a right-of-way that doesn't seem to be used for trash pickup anymore. That lines up with the street to the north. I know, shit like that is just boring and stupid to most people, but I always find it intriguing. Florence, by the way, older than Phoenix, so it has a very interesting history. Yeah, back then I was making enough money that I conceivably could have got myself into a house with a little bit of work here, but probably a good thing that I didn't, considering things that came later. I mean, who knows what would have happened to me if I'd have done that then, but yeah, as far as me qualifying for public housing at the time, in spite of how well I am doing these days, I like the solar up there. It doesn't change the fact that I have a dual diagnosis of bipolar disorder, what they call axis 2. I'm not really sure what that means, and schizoaffective disorder, and I do still experience the symptoms of those things. Some days a lot more than others, and still 100% convinced I'm diagnosed high functioning autism as well. I mean, I pretty much experience almost every symptom of that daily. Oh, that old Dodge truck is making me sad with its doors missing. I hope somebody's really trying to put that back together. Anyway, yeah, at the time I had a show here once a week. I forget what night of the week it was, but it was a the show was popping. Second week into it, it was just like at capacity all the way to the end. And the show where I ended up getting fired mid-show and not getting paid for it, or not getting paid much for it, and that's, I said I'm not going to say that story. Am I going to say that story? I'm going to say bits and pieces of it. At the time, I had a relationship of some kind with my younger daughter's mother. My younger daughter Lily, her mother Elise, and that relationship was always kind of bleh. It's the bottom line with her, and sometimes I worry that it's also kind of the bottom line with the so-called girlfriend I have now, is that in my heart of hearts, I want someone who's more physically attractive, I guess, and you know, call me shallow, guilty as charged, I guess. But I don't know. I just think back to different times in my life and different girlfriends I've had, and one that I really go back to is, which ended bad. I've talked about her in the past, but Tracy, I like to think of her as my first fiance. Not that we ever set a date to get married, but we certainly talked about it happening a lot. It never happened. She married the guy she left me for, and that didn't work out. So I don't know. Did I dodge a bullet not marrying her? Probably. Just love the old historic part of not the most beautiful houses, but I dig the old historic part of Florence. I like that little travel trailer. But imagine my car could pull that with ease. It's a beautiful house. Not historic, it's still a beautiful little house. Pretty much the entire time that I was with her, I never, ever really found myself lusting after or craving other women. I mean, and I was around a lot of attractive women all the time. And in my mind, they were never anything that I really gave a second thought to, because in my reality, oh, this reminds me of the drunk I had as a teenager. If it hadn't burned up in the late 80s, it would probably look something like that now. But it was nice then. But yeah, that was the two-tone color paint that was on it back then. All right, I'm at Canal Street. I don't think this goes through to the library. Maybe it does. Trailers on their own lots, or is this block a thinly veiled mobile home park? So I'd imagine these lots are real inexpensive. Not that I'm looking to move here at any time in the future. I don't know. Always considering options. I do really long to own my own home of some kind. Oh, here comes a fire truck. So, yeah, I never, I don't think ever cheated on her, ever. And not only was it something that I never physically did, like it was just something that it just never occurred to me to do. No matter what woman I met or I saw throughout the course of my day, and I was a cab driver, so I mean, I'm in and out of bars and I'm seeing beautiful women constantly. None of them ever struck me as more attractive to me or more desirable for me than my girlfriend Tracy. I felt she was stunningly beautiful, and just and looking back, I mean, I've had much more exciting sex lives with other women since, but even as that was, like, I was just that content and in love. And I can think of maybe one significant other that I've had since. Scratch that, maybe two that I've really felt that way since. And that's a me problem. It's not a them problem. At the moment, I'm strained to even remember the name of either of them. How bad is that? But one was the, her name will come back to me, Leslie. See, it always comes back eventually. Leslie. Yeah, God, Leslie rocked my world. Like when I think of women I've dated that I felt whatever way about at whatever time, Leslie is certainly one that I come back to as the one that got away. Yeah, Leslie was in my mind perfect in every way, and I'm sure she looks back at me as a bullet she dodged in her life. Oh, so this is the town hall. Very cool. Judging from the architecture, I imagine it's pretty darn old. I dig these kind of awnings on sidewalks. I don't understand why these aren't everywhere in Arizona. It's like the heat is killing me. My car is directly that way, but just the opportunity to walk in a little bit of shade. Something I couldn't pass up right here. So, yeah, there is nobody else in my heart, mind, or body the entire time I was with Leslie. And we weren't together for a very long time, and the situations, we never broke up, per se. There was just some happenstance that happened when we separated where the world was a lot less connected place then. And I just kind of unintentionally disappeared out of her life just due to situations, obstacles, and distance. She was in Tucson and I didn't know how to reach her, but I had no way to physically get to her. And as a living in student housing for the University of Arizona, and I was just having some issues. Central Arizona Regional Transit. There is actually public transit down here, known as the CART. Ride the CART. Oh, look at that. There is actually transit that connects Florence, Coolidge, and Casa Grande and stops here. It doesn't look like it's a whole lot, but I was unaware until this very moment that there was any public transportation whatsoever in Casa Grande, Florence, or Coolidge. So today I learned something very valuable when it comes to public transit. Anyway, yeah, that's one that I definitely let get away, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. And I mean, she was young, and I'm sure she found, in fact, I know for a fact she found much better, a much better situation for herself while she was in college. And I hope she's still married to that man. I hope that worked out. I did reach out to her when I was married, which was probably a stupid thing to do while I was married, but I don't know. I saw her name on something and realized she was living in Tucson and I was living in Tucson, and she's certainly somebody I've never forgotten. The other girl, that was like a 2-week fling, but oh my God, was she young and hot. And I wasn't thinking of anybody else at the time I was with her. All I could think was, holy shit, I'm scoring way above my league right now, and I love this. I need a little bit of shade. So, anyway, checking back to my car and the situation here. I was checking my options and stuff, and there is a Tesla supercharger that I have more than enough power to get to in Queen Creek, which I've never used before, but it's by a Circle K that I worked at a couple times last summer that I really liked. I'm up to 20%. Still charging 6 kilowatts. I think if I hit this button, I can get it's estimating that I have 50 miles. I don't know if you all saw that. It popped up there briefly. That is enough for me, I believe, to also get to the EA in Casa Grande. The EV Connect in Coolidge more than enough to get me there. Looking at the prices, I'm on daytime pricing, so it's the Tesla is expensive. There's also some stuff to going north up into Queen Creek and area, other charging options, but let me see what's going on with roadie. The last I checked, there was a pretty decent little roadie run in not Coolidge, but in yeah, here it is, in Casa Grande, which will bring me back to Florence. You know, I think I'm going to error loading gig. Error refreshing, tap to refresh. Well, it's not letting me refresh. The refresh button isn't where it should be. There's a thing that says error loading, tap to refresh, but when I tap it, it doesn't refresh. Error refreshing, tap to refresh. That's not working. You know, and I've got a full signal right now too, so I don't know why my phone is being so. So I'm still undecided. I was kind of hoping at this point I definitely have enough juice to get to. I definitely have enough juice to get to the Electrify America, which is free for me in Casa Grande. And while that's not the most sensible destination for me right now, if I could pick up that run that's coming back here, I can do that, do my run, and that will be a big win. But I can't really make that decision without getting roadie to refresh, and I can't seem to get roadie to refresh. At any rate, I'm getting damn hot out here, so I'm gonna head back into the library and head back into the library, and there's a building over there that looks head back in the library, get cool off. That'll give me some clarity of thought, drink some water, and then try to reload my stuff. And if for some reason it's my network on my phone, which I have a strong signal, is giving me the problems, I can always jump on the Wi-Fi here. By the way, friends of the library store had some media that I bought with the pocket full of change at the